Hey, what's up everybody, Richard Gaming Guy here. Today in this video, I'm going to show you guys around the Logitech G Cloud Handheld video game console, and we're going to get to the bottom of why everybody is hating on this poor, innocent handheld video game console. It looks awesome, and I jumped into it for a few minutes last night. I really didn't play a whole lot on here, but my experience, while brief, was really positive. So I want to get to the bottom of why everybody's hating on this device, why everybody is just saying such awful things about it, because it looks really cool. I'm not unboxing this for the first time. I checked it out last night briefly, but this is what it looks like here. And I'm going to take you guys on a quick external tour, show you all the functions, features, control layouts, all that good stuff, up close and personal. Then we're going to jump into some games. But look at it. It looks awesome. It's got that Xbox sort of control layout there, so if you're an Xbox gamer like I am, you're going to feel at home with the way that this feels in your hands. We've got a 7-inch IPS screen on here. It looks awesome. The sound quality is great. So as of right now, I don't know what all the hate is about here. So let's dive into it. We'll take that external tour and jump into some games. See if we can get to the bottom of this. All right, everybody, here we are with the Logitech G Cloud Handheld video game console. First off, let me apologize if I have a little bit of reflection coming in like this. This is a super glossy screen, really high quality screen, but the downside to that is sometimes we get some of this reflection from the lights while I'm filming here bouncing off. So I'm going to try to steady this and keep it at an angle where we minimize that as best I can, but here and there I'm going to dip and do stuff like this that's going to shine the reflection around a little bit. So this has an awesome layout. I love the way this is laid out. Just picking this up for the very first time, you just instantly hold it the exact way that it's intended to be held. Everything is sculpted beautifully on the back side of this. You can see so many ways to just grip onto this, and it's super comfortable. If you're an Xbox gamer, I think you're going to gravitate towards the layout here, even more so than if you were a PlayStation gamer, just because of the way you have the staggered analog sticks here. It just feels very familiar for Xbox gamers. So A, B, X, and Y button over here, 4-button configuration. We have some menu buttons up here. Home button, G button over here. Analog sticks, obviously. Everything is just perfect, really responsive here. I'm not going to hit these buttons at the moment just so I don't jump into these different apps. But they are very responsive, very easy to hit, great action on there. Very happy with all of that. D-pad over here, I'm going to try to angle this, see if we can see. It's a little hard with white on white, but the center of the D-pad here is indented in, so it's very comfortable to just kind of, if you're going to be using the D-pad, resting your thumb here, you don't even have to push down on the directions here. All you have to do is just slide your hand, any of those directions, and because it's indented here, when you slide over, you instantly hit that direction. So really comfortable, really nice D-pad there, and I'm always a stickler for D-pads on controllers or handhelds because a lot of times they're very basic and don't have great action. That's not the case here. Analog sticks here. I'm going to angle this again, see if we can see the gloss on this yellow piece here. You can see it shining right there, shining over here. Very glossy, which means that when we move on here, it's effortless. Apologize for the annoying sound there, but look at the action on this when I just move it around. Really nice action. It glides. You don't have to strain to push this. It's just really smooth. The smoothest analog sticks I've seen on a handheld thus far. So really happy with that. Some grips on top. You can always replace those if you wanted to, but really nice. They grip your fingertips so you can, easily maneuver those. Going up to the top here, we have our shoulder and trigger buttons. These were one of the first things I paid attention to because I saw some videos in the past that negatively talked about how close they were together and how they were very awkward. I don't find that to be the case at all here. My hands just go right up there. The response on these buttons is the same whether you hit it on this end, that end, or in the center. So regardless of what size hands or fingers you have, wherever you engage your shoulder buttons, you're going to get the same level of action and response from those buttons. Same thing with the triggers here. So these are hinged triggers. Not always a fan of those, but I am a fan here because they feel very much like the PS5s with the response that you get. really nicely laid out. Again, same action here, here, and over here, so it doesn't matter where you line up on here. You're going to get the same level of performance. So love all of that. We're going to jump into games though, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, but just going over it here, I'm really happy. 3.5mm headphone jack, Type-C power supply port right here. This is how we're going to charge this up. Here we have some speakers up at the top. I talked about the shoulder and trigger buttons, but I didn't talk about these. So we have our volume control here. It's a button, so we have, or two buttons, not a slider. Plus over here, so hit the plus to bring the volume up, minus to bring it down. Sliding power button right here, so we hold it left to power it on. Pull it over to the left to power it off. You're going to get a prompt on screen. You'll just select shut down or power off to, have this fully shut down. Over here we have a micro SD card slot. Covered up with this little protector here to keep dust and dirt from settling in there. So you can add in your games if you're into this for emulation purposes that way. Flipping this over though, not much to see on the back, but this is ridged so we can grip onto it a little bit better. Really nice sort of flat finish here, so no risk of really sliding off of this or dropping it or anything like that. So time to get into some games. So before I do, I want to talk about what I'm going to focus on in this video. I'm going to be jumping into Xbox Cloud Gaming. I have a bunch of games through my Xbox account. I can access all of those with this, and that's what I want to test the performance with. I've jumped into emulation gaming on here. The experience is very good. You're able to get into even your more advanced collections pretty effortlessly. Can't say that every single title for like GameCube, PS2, and certainly beyond is going to be perfect by any means, but you do get pretty good performance out of those. But I want to focus on Xbox Cloud Gaming because I think that is definitely one of the coolest aspects of this particular setup. We also have GeForce Now over here from NVIDIA. If you are a fan of that, in all honesty, I'm not really a big fan of that, but if you are, it works really nicely on here. Same deal here with Steam Link. I'll probably do a video in the future highlighting Steam Link on here, but again, I'm going to focus more so on Xbox Cloud Gaming because I have a ton of games through my Xbox account that I want to test out on here. I've seen a lot of videos in the past talking about the experience with Xbox Cloud Gaming and it not being very good on here. I've jumped into some titles so far. I'm going to jump into a lot more here in this video, and I have not seen any indication of any sort of performance issues in there from my personal experience. So I'm going to test this out a little bit more. You can see up here in parentheses, this is beta, so this is still very new, but I want to test this out. I will mention before we do, it did make a recommendation when I first set this up as to what type of internet connection you want to have in terms of internet speed rather. So there are some requirements that makes it so your performance is going to be of the highest quality. You want to make sure that you obviously have the internet speeds and all of that they recommend on here. So pay close attention when you're setting this up so you can make sure that you make adjustments or connect to the right network, whatever you need to do in order to maximize the performance on here. That's probably where some of the other videos likely went wrong. If you have not a great internet speed, then this is going to become a challenge for you to enjoy this, the way that it's meant to be enjoyed. So let's dive into some gaming and get started.
Nice. Folks need heroes, Chief. Give them hope. So smile, would ya? Well, we still got something to smile about. How's it going, Malta? Stand by. They're lashed. Check your targets, watch the crossfire. They're in standard formation. Little bastards up front, big ones in back. Good luck, Cairo. Feel the fire on that bulkhead. As soon as that door opens, let them have it.
Alright guys, so you experienced that with me. It did not go well. It started off great. I was feeling really good there, but we ran into some issues. So let's recap here. I was optimistic. I felt confident. We jumped into Dirt 5, did a full race on there. I didn't see any issues. Great experience there. Dirt 5 is not an old game by any means, so I was feeling good. We were off to a great start. I cut the game a little bit short, just didn't want to bore you guys with the same exact game, same exact content. So skipped ahead, we jumped into Fortnite. Fortnite I thought was going to be the ultimate test. Fortnite's a live game. You're playing with other gamers live. You're not playing along in like a campaign mode or anything, so I thought that was just going to be the ultimate test, and I didn't experience any issues there. Now, I will say I've done a lot of research on this particular handheld on YouTube here. I've seen tons of reviews on here, and a lot of people have run into issues with Fortnite. I think part of that comes from your internet connection. You have to have a high-speed internet. You have to have a certain speed. I don't remember exactly what that is off the top of my head, but I know that I have the highest speed that's offered because I game. So I have good internet speed here. I'm playing at home, so I'm not out, playing at a hotel or a buddy's house or anything like that. So, you may end up with some performance issues if you're playing somewhere that doesn't have that high-speed internet. So that may factor into why I didn't have an issue with Fortnite, because I know for a fact a lot of people have. I've seen the issues that they've had live, or not live, but on their videos on YouTube. So I know that there's issues there. I just didn't experience any. You guys saw I did kind of jump all over because I was trying to keep to just action sequences. You guys didn't want to see me hoofing it across the map, doing absolutely nothing, running into trees like I tend to do. So I kept it to, a little shootout I had in the beginning. I think that's the only kill I had. But you saw me racing cars around and just trying to keep the game active just to make sure that we didn't run into issues. We didn't. But I didn't have any multi-person battles or shootouts in the game, so that could have also played into why I didn't have any issues. I did play yesterday, though, on Fortnite, and I think I placed 8th or so. So I got much further than I did today while filming. Didn't experience any issues there either. So again, this was why I was so confident. So we jumped into Halo. Halo 2 to be exact. It's the remastered version, which is still several years old now. It's not a new remaster by any means. I want to say it came out in like 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. I remember it was when I first got the Xbox One. I was a little late on getting it. So it's, at this point, 7-8 years old at least. So it jumped into that one. I was actually going to jump into the newer one, but I've seen a lot of people cover that in their videos, so I want to do something a little bit different. I thought that we'd ease into it before we ran into any possible issues. That wasn't the case. Got through the initial cutscene, didn't want to bore you with too much of that. Grabbed my double machine guns, went to the door that the Covenant's breaking through, as I always do, ready to blast them away. Pulled both triggers, and you guys saw what happened. within a matter of seconds, I was frozen up. Could not move. I was trying to hit other buttons just to kind of break out of it. Sometimes I've seen in other videos, people saw like a quick little freeze. They hit a couple times to jump their character. They got out of it. Didn't happen for me. You saw I had to exit the game completely. So I paused the video there because I don't want to show you guys more of the same thing. Jumped back in there, did the exact same thing. Exact same thing happened. Got out of the game, reloaded it in again, grabbed one machine gun instead of two, got further along, but maybe 10-20 seconds further along, same thing started happening. It wasn't that quick freeze. It was like a couple like glitches and then ultimately froze up. So that leads me to believe that this just is not capable of doing what it's supposed to do. I've seen a lot of other videos out there with people jumping into games where they have the exact same issue, and they're more demanding games. They're chaotic games with a lot going on. That's really what sent this over the edge in that scene where just, the Covenant's coming in, they're shooting, I'm shooting with two machine guns. It's too much for this to handle. So, unfortunately, I can't save this from the terrible reviews it's getting here on YouTube. It's getting them for a reason. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. The price point, I wasn't offended by it. I paid, I think, around $300 or so. But I did buy this on Cyber Monday. I think I got a few dollars off because it was Cyber Monday. So $300 to $350 is the price point here. I thought it was fair. I love the way this looks. If I compare this to the Steam Deck performance-wise, it doesn't match up. Appearance-wise and layout-wise, I like this better than the Steam Deck, in all honesty. I think it's just an awesome layout. A lot of people have been hating on the trigger and shoulder button layout. I think it's great. I have no issue with it whatsoever. I think it's comfortable. It's exactly where my fingers line up on there and everything. The action is consistent, as I mentioned to you guys while taking that external tour of the device. I love everything about this except that it falls short in performance. That sucks because I was rooting for it. I really was. Sorry, Logitech. I was rooting for you guys here. But it is what it is. At that price point, I think it's still too expensive for where it falls short. If we had issues with certain games, yeah, I'd look the other way if it was a $200 handheld, but it's not. Right now, it's $300 to $350. It's too much for a handheld that doesn't do what it's advertised to do. I had a better experience than most people did. So take that into consideration. I feel lucky because I've seen people struggle with some of the games that I didn't personally struggle with. So maybe they're making, they're not making any changes while it's in my hands. But, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't experience all the issues everybody else did. But in the end, I see what everybody's saying about this. I see that it's not on the level that it should be at. So maybe they make another one. I don't know. Maybe they make improvements and come back at it, and they take on the Steam Deck, because right now they got the 3 count here from Steam Deck, because Steam Deck is capable of so much without limitations. And if you're into this for emulation, it just boils down to, are you a fan of emulating on Androids? I'm not. If you've seen my videos in the past, I barely touch on anything Android with emulation because I just hate it so much. I don't like downloading individual emulators and setting them all up. I want to set up one thing like Batocera or RetroPie and move on. I don't want to have to go in there and customize all these different settings. It's a pain in the ass. It makes it unenjoyable. By the time you get through all of that, you don't even want to play the games anymore. It's just such a frustrating experience, in my opinion. This is all my opinion. So if you're into Android emulation, no offense to you. Everybody has their thing that they're into. I'm just not. I'm not a fan of it. Even if the performance is better there than, say, on like the Linux side of a certain handheld or something like that. I'd rather just have that easier experience where I can jump into games much easier than have to go in and just configure everything and do all of that. It's just a lot. So I wouldn't grab this for emulation. I really wouldn't. That's just me, though. I know people that use it for emulation. They like it. But it's got some shortcomings there. It's not going to be a perfect experience for GameCube and everything beyond that. It's hit or miss. Some games perform perfect, some don't. It is what it is there. So it kind of lines up with what we're experiencing here with the Xbox Cloud Gaming. Some stuff works great, some stuff doesn't work at all. It's hit or miss for the price point. Hit or miss isn't what we want. So I would pass on this unless you get it at a great deal and you're okay with the limitations that are there. But we don't know 100% where things are going to work and not work. So it's kind of a trial and error sort of situation, which sucks at that price point. So can't recommend it, unfortunately. I want to. It looks so cool, but I can't based on the performance here. So let me know what you guys think of this, though. It seems like the general consensus on this is negative. I was trying to turn that around for them, but in the end, I failed because they failed. So let me know what you guys think of this handheld. Are you a fan of it? Are you not a fan of it? Why? Hit me up in the comment section below. You guys know the deal, though. If you enjoyed this video and the content here, hit that thumbs up. It's a huge help to me here on YouTube. And hit the subscribe button to stay in the loop for all future videos here on the Retro Gaming Guy YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.